Hi, my name is Ashlyn Thomas and I'll be discussing mental health in business. It's chapter 15 in our textbook and it covers personality, attitudes, behaviors, learning abilities, and much more. Our attitude is designed of three components: cognition, affect, and behavior. Cognition involves the beliefs and opinions that make up who we are, essentially. Our knowledge and information help form these opinions along with our beliefs in creating an ethics structure for our morals. Our affects are our emotions and our feelings. How we feel about things will determine how we interact with others. Our behavior is the intentional way of acting around someone. The key word in that definition is intentional. Behavior is not something that you can create necessarily. It is an intentional way of acting and creates another personality trait of who you are in your attitude. Serena Baduri was a sales ad executive for USA Today, which was owned by a Gannett company. She was the top salesperson of 2018 and eventually went on to become the digital sales director for the same company. In 2019, she filed a claim against Gannett Company in a case that became Baduri versus Gannett Company. She filed through Wingder LLP. She had just announced her second pregnancy when she was fired. She wanted to be able to be a mother and an employee. This company, unfortunately, decided she couldn't do both. In the timeline of events, Baduri said that she was scolded by her boss, Esther Cross, for having a bad attitude after returning to work from the death of her son only a few months after his birth. She had given birth in November, and unfortunately her son died the following January. She took off 1 month for bereavement, and when she returned, as any mother would, she was still a little bit heartbroken. This created the idea in Cross's mind that Baduri had a bad attitude and was creating a toxic work environment. Baduri requested to work under someone new after she had admitted to not being able to work with pregnant women before, but the request was ignored. After returning to work after the 1 month of bereavement, there was a second boss who had joined the workforce. Her name was Anna Riddle. Unfortunately for Baduri, that meant that she now had two managers. The two then went on to micromanage Baduri's clients and money by giving her smaller clients that brought in less. Directly tied to the management and work environment that Baduri was experiencing from Cross and Riddle, she had unfortunately lost some of her job satisfaction. The micromanaging that came from them stripping away her higher paying clients and giving her only the bottom ones led to the decreased job performance, lowered customer satisfaction, absenteeism, and workplace behavior. While these may not have all been true for Baduri, they can be true for others. It can be difficult sometimes to maintain job satisfaction where there are challenges in an employee's personal life. In this case, Baduri had just lost her son. Like anyone, she was upset, and her attitude might have decreased. Unfortunately, this situation was not handled the best. When she was fired in 2019, shortly after announcing her pregnancy, it was announced in July and she was fired in August. She was told that it was because she had a bad attitude and created a negative, toxic work environment for those around her, causing the entire office to lose morale. Baduri was fired on August 13th. She did not take direction very well. It was another key point that was emphasized in her firing. The lawsuit was filed in 2019. She filed for claims against discrimination and retaliation, but the case is still ongoing. Hopefully for Baduri, the claims will come through and she'll be able to collect for the discrimination that she suffered from Cross and Riddle at Gannett Company. Shortly after she was fired, she made the claim that another pregnant staff member was also let go from the already understaffed team. This discrimination might not be based on her negative behavior, however, it is a pretty toxic workplace. Another similar case that is worth mentioning is Vicki Sandy. She filed a claim against Kroger a couple years back in 2012 or 2014 for their assessment during the application process. She is hearing and speech impaired, but the personality tests determined that she was less likely to listen carefully, understand, and remember, or use clear enunciation. The EEOC, which is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, clarified that the purpose of the personality exams is to determine the insight into their potential employees rather than discriminate for someone not meeting the requirements of the position's demands. There would be disparate treatment discrimination. For example, if an employer only gave personality tests to Hispanics because he thought them inherently untrustworthy and did not give them to anyone else. There would also be discrimination if an employer gave a test to everyone, but the test disproportionately screened out African Americans and did not predict job success. This goes on to prove that, unfortunately for Vicky Sandy, personality tests are still able to be taken for job applications. According to the American Disability Act, the test cannot be given after employment has been offered. Thank you.